Chosen ones.
Listen closely, for we have reached the coordinates of the most significant spiritual event of the decade. The 3/3 portal and the total lunar eclipse have merged, creating a frequency amplification that is currently overriding all previous reality signatures. Whether you are conscious of it or not, the shift is already being registered by your internal nervous system. Long before the moon turns red, the spiritually attuned perceive the change in the background radiation of existence. This is not a full moon for the masses. This is a landmark moment of recalibration that will be referenced for years to match. The 3/3 portal does not respond to surface-level aesthetics or trend-based spirituality. It is a clinical response to consistency. The silent work. This frequency is specifically calibrated for those who have performed the inner work in the shadows long before it was a social requirement.
The unseen path.
It recognizes the ones who stayed the course when there was no applause, who healed without documentation, and who followed their intuition when it defied all logical protocols.
The endurance reward.
This portal does not demand perfection, it validates endurance. For those who have been quietly aligned for years, this shift will manifest as a personal recognition signal, a cosmic confirmation that every invisible step you took has been archived. The blood moon is the universe's way of finalizing your promotion into the next tier of sovereignty. If you resonate with the weight of this moment, realize that this eclipse is designed to reward you the most. You are not shaken by the intensity. You are being activated. 1. The portal overlap. The 3/3 numerological gateway acts as a lens, focusing the transformative power of the eclipse directly into your life's architecture. 2. The system sync. You are no longer waiting for a shift to happen to you. You are currently moving with the shift as a peer to the cosmic grid. 3. The universe's response. This is the moment where the silence of the past few years is replaced by a profound, "I saw you."
The wait is over.
The moon is darkening to reveal the true light of your internal development. This is the recognition phase for the silent warriors of the spirit. The path you walked alone has led you directly to the center of this portal.
Chosen ones.
Prepare your vessels, for the symptoms of the shift are already vibrating within your marrow. As we approach the moment of totality on March 3rd, there is one single action that outweighs every ritual, every bottle of moon water, and every spiritual cliché the world is rushing toward. Before the shadow even touches the lunar surface, you must perform the most critical task of your incarnation. Establish energetic authority. This is not a theatrical display. It is an internal, silent, sovereign positioning. The stretched bandwidth. During a total lunar eclipse, the emotional bandwidth of the entire planet is stretched to its absolute breaking point. The collective unconscious becomes a roar. Millions are unknowingly projecting their deepest fears, insecurities, and confusion into the ether. The atmosphere becomes heavy, reactive, and dangerously porous. If you do not hold your own frequency, you will begin to drown in shadows that do not belong to you. You will absorb the static of the matrix, mistaking its chaos for your own. The law of spiritual gravity. By establishing your internal stance now, you are not merely protecting yourself, you are anchoring. You are choosing the exact coordinates where the portal will meet you. You are declaring to the energetic field, "I refuse to be pulled into narratives that are not mine. I am the architect of my own frequency." This is spiritual gravity. When you claim your alignment before the eclipse begins, the portal responds to you differently. You remain the eye of the storm, sharper, clearer, and centered. You experience this blood moon from a position of authority, not exposure. Remember this secret. The portal cannot distort a soul that has already chosen its place within it. The authority is active, like this transmission right now, to signal to the great architect that you have taken your seat upon the throne of your own energy. Subscribe and turn on the bell. As we count down the final hours to totality, this frequency is your only anchor in the collective storm. In the comments below, type, "I am anchored," to lock your sovereign position into the cosmic ledger. If this channel has helped you reclaim your energetic boundaries, you can support me with a cup of coffee, because every seed you release becomes a river that reaches souls you may never meet. The donation link is waiting for you in the description and shown as a QR code in this video. Your support is a powerful signature of your commitment to this awakening. This single declaration sets the tone for the next 24 hours. The Matrix is screaming, but you are silent. The world is reacting, but you are responding. Stand in your gravity, chosen one. The portal is waiting for you. One thing that distinguishes this particular celestial event is its uncanny ability to catalyze manifestations at breakneck speed. While some may experience a total culmination of their deepest desires, most will encounter a profound tectonic shift, a sudden go signal from the universe, or a breakthrough that propels a long-stalled project into uncharted territory in a way that was previously unimaginable. Unlike the gentle, nurturing energy of a typical new moon, a blood moon is a force of nature. It does not ask for permission. It demands momentum. It aggressively shakes the cobwebs from stagnant timelines and clears the debris from paths that were aligned but previously obstructed. This specific eclipse operates with the cold, calculated precision of a master surgeon. If you have been steady in your vision, even if that steadiness was quiet, messy, or imperfect, you will likely find that today things simply click into place. The celestial gears are turning in your favor. Manifesting during a blood moon isn't about brute forcing your will upon reality. It's about observing how the energy responds when the shadow grazes the lunar surface and the very fabric of the energetic field is rewoven. Sometimes, the most powerful manifestation is the abrupt vanishing of a long-standing obstacle that you thought was permanent. But there is always a shift. There is always a ripple in the pond. There is always a sign, however subtle, that the transformation has been initiated. What sparks to life today might be the very destination you have been subconsciously preparing for over a lifetime. The eclipse serves as a high-powered spotlight, illuminating the path you are finally courageous enough to traverse. And now, it is time for today's featured reflection. Face it and forgive yourself. Truly, deeply forgive yourself. This act of healing is the essential fuel for everything that follows. Love, only love. There is a profound, aching tenderness in this process. Self-forgiveness is not about airbrushing the past or pretending your mistakes didn't happen. It is about sitting in the quiet room of your own soul with the raw reality of what occurred, refusing to run from it, and making the radical choice to stop punishing yourself for being human. Long as shame is the one behind the steering wheel. Choosing love over resentment is not a sign of fragility. It is the ultimate mark of spiritual maturity. It is the higher response to an old pain. Thank you for this vital reminder. As the blood moon looms, your physical form doesn't wait for the moment of totality to react. It begins a subtle, quiet recalibration while you sleep, operating far beneath the threshold of your conscious involvement. This celestial portal begins its dialogue with your energetic system long before your rational mind can even begin to process the magnitude of the shift. You may find that tonight, your sleep is unconventional. It won't be chaotic or frightening, but it will feel as though something is shifting in the deep foundations of your being. You might sleep for hours and wake up feeling electrified rather than rested. This isn't fatigue, it is a spiritual activation. Your body is staying on high alert, poised for the moment the portal swings wide. Some will find themselves waking at odd hours, just long enough to acknowledge the shift before drifting back into the depths. These brief awakenings are not disturbances. They are fine-tunings. Your body is syncing with a new incoming energy, much like a fine instrument being tuned before a symphony. You might also experience a sleep that feels incredibly heavy, yet you wake with a strange sense of inner readiness. This is the sleep of the soul, where your internal noise is silenced and your emotional blueprints are reorganized on your behalf. These eclipse nights have a way of pulling dormant energy to the surface and aligning your life with your highest purpose. The heightened alertness you feel tonight isn't anxiety, it's anticipation. Your system recognizes what today represents, even if your mind hasn't connected the dots. Think of it this way: your body prepares for a breakthrough long before your consciousness realizes one is arriving. You aren't being disrupted, you are being positioned. Your sleep becomes a vital part of the grounding process that today will complete. And when you wake up, even if the world feels slightly off-kilter or unfamiliar, that is your confirmation that the portal has already begun to guide you toward what today intends to reveal. Perhaps the most overlooked effect of an eclipse portal is how it alters your physical behavior without any conscious effort. It's a quiet, nearly invisible metamorphosis. As this total lunar eclipse builds, your body starts signaling a different, more evolved version of you, one that is anchored, certain, and vibrantly present. We often assume spiritual shifts are purely cerebral or emotional, but the body is always the primary messenger. You might find your posture naturally changing, not because you're trying to stand tall, but because your internal architecture is rising to meet the influx of energy. Your spine lengthens, your shoulders drop away from your ears, and your chest opens as if your lungs are preparing to hold more light. Your movements may become slower, more deliberate, and more intentional, as if you are operating from a place of deep awareness rather than rushing through your life. Even the way you occupy space changes. You take up your rightful room, not in an egotistical way, but in a grounded, fully present way. Your gaze becomes steadier. When you look at someone, you are actually looking, not just glancing for a second and then drifting away. The eclipse amplifies your inner sovereignty, and that authority shows up in your physical presence long before you ever utter a word. The nervous, frantic energy of the past begins to evaporate, because your body is no longer reacting to every tiny stimulus. It has found its center. The body often accepts a new identity long before the mind can wrap its logic around the change. This is the true power of a blood moon portal. It grounds you and aligns your physical expression with the internal version of you that is currently emerging. Most people miss these signs because they are too busy looking for dramatic omens, but your steadiness and your breathing are the real indicators that something massive is happening. On March 3rd, when the moon enters its total phase and the world is bathed in that eerie, temporary dimness, a sacred hush descends. It isn't a loud or chaotic energy. It is a profound, heavy stillness that even those who aren't spiritually aware can feel in the air. This is the moment the portal opens, not as a violent explosion, but as a deliberate pause, a breath of pure clarity that only reveals itself when everything else goes silent. During totality, pay close attention to what naturally bubbles up in your mind. These aren't the intentions you forced yourself to set. They are the truths rising from the depths. It might be a sudden clarity regarding a decision you've been avoiding, a person who has been on your mind, or a direction you've been hesitant to take. These are not random thoughts. They are reflections of your true alignment. The portal interacts with your consciousness by revealing what your deeper self has already decided. Sometimes it's a name, a memory that suddenly makes sense, or a truth you've known for months but lacked the bravery to claim. During an eclipse, the mind stops narrating and starts witnessing. You aren't trying to control the moment. You are simply letting the moment show you what is real. When the world goes quiet, your truth gets louder. This witness moment is the real portal, the space where your next chapter begins to reveal itself. Whatever rises in your mind during totality is a tap on the shoulder from your future. And once you see it, it becomes very hard to unsee. This eclipse isn't interested in your weaknesses or your past traumas. It isn't coming to reopen old emotional scars or challenge you at your most vulnerable point. Instead, it is hyper-focused on your potential. It is pressing against the boundaries of your expansion, exposing the parts of you that are closest to a breakthrough. This isn't about your insecurities, it's about your power. You might feel a strange internal pressure, but it doesn't come from fear. It comes from an inner strength that is trying to surface faster than your mind is ready for. It's the sensation of being on the edge of emergence, not collapse. People often describe it as the feeling that something is about to break open, and they are right. It is momentum building inside of you. You might feel sudden bursts of courage or find that decisions that used to be difficult are now effortless. Many people dread the words blood moon because they have been conditioned to associate them with chaos. But this mindset is exactly what prevents them from receiving the gift. The energy of March 3rd isn't coming to destabilize you. It's coming to amplify you. The portal works at its highest capacity when you aren't bracing for impact, but rather allowing the shift to meet you where you are. Fear creates resistance, while openness creates flow. This eclipse responds to whichever one you choose. When you meet this event with a genuine willingness to experience what it has to give, the energy becomes cooperative. You are no longer fighting the tide, you are using it. The blood moon simply multiplies what you are already carrying inside. If you approach today with fear, the weight will feel heavy. But if you approach with readiness, the eclipse will multiply your momentum. The portal cannot harm the person who isn't resisting the version of themselves they are becoming. That is the real secret. This event highlights your readiness rather than your doubts. It aligns your next steps rather than destroying your old ones. People who fear this energy misunderstand its purpose. It doesn't take anything unless you are already trying to let it go. It doesn't push you unless you are already leaning forward. It is an amplifier of intention and an accelerator of alignment. The moment you stop fearing what it brings, you start benefiting from what it activates. This is why today isn't something to hide from. It is something to step toward with awareness and welcome. And if you are still here, if these words have resonated with you, then the portal has already begun its work within you. This lunar eclipse on March 3rd isn't just a date on a calendar. It is a moment that highlights the quiet strength you've been building without even noticing. Today doesn't demand perfection from you. It doesn't expect you to have all the answers. It only asks that you show up with honesty and an open mind. The clarity and the breakthroughs will meet you in their own timing. Let whatever the eclipse brings guide you rather than intimidate you. There is something incredibly hopeful about knowing that the universe rearranges itself for those who are willing to step forward. And by being here, you have already proven that you are one of them.